Guys, chances are if you're watching this video, you need to write the perfect statement of purpose. I don't care if you wanted to get admission, if you wanted to get a job, whatever you're doing, internship, application, research position, this video will help you do that end to end. This is the only video you will ever need. So stick with me for 10-15 minutes and I'll give you golden opportunities over here that you were missing, that were right in front of your eyes, but you could not see them. So let me tell you exactly how you can ace that statement of purpose for yourself. Before we begin, a little bit about me. 5,000 plus SOPs we've done up till now. 5,000 is a big number, guys. And even though I thought it should be somewhere around 6,000-7,000 right now, we were a little over 5,000. Where have we sent these students who have worked with us, for SOPs essentially? Some of these names that may be familiar to you: Harvard, Columbia, Stanford, MIT, University of Oxford, University of Cambridge, London Business School. These are just some of them. Some of the topmost universities in the world. We've also done, I believe, National University of Singapore. There's a couple more that, from different parts of the world, topmost universities, but our students have actually made it to some of these. And these are the SOPs that we have written for them, right? Whatever I'm giving you in this video, there's going to be format, there's going to be tips and tricks, and there's going to be, of course, samples. So you have everything you need right over here. By the way, all of our drafts are written by Ivy League graduates and screened by YMGrad associates who make sure they're up to the standard, zero plagiarism, unlimited changes. And if you are interested in something of that sort, you can always take a look at the YMGrad.com SOP drafting page. It works for MBA essays as well, it works for SOPs as well. No matter where you're going, it just works. Now that's something to consider if you'd like to actually go ahead and get our help with. But if you'd like to do it by yourself, please continue watching because this is going to be very crucial. First, let's begin with a couple of tips and tricks because these are some of the common mistakes that you guys make again and again and again, and I want to make sure that if you're watching this video, you will avoid those. Number one, very important, probably if you're watching this whole video, this is the most important one. Customize your draft. Don't submit the same SOP to every single university, every single research position, every single place that you're applying to. It's wrong. It's incorrect. It shows lack of research, lack of effort, and it shows that you're not ready to do the job. You're not ready to put in the work, right? So we're not going to do that. We're going to be smart about this. And how do we get smart about this? Remember, every single draft that you do, it should be customized based on university-specific portions, professor-specific portions. You may know that you would like to quote a professor that you'd like to work with, right? Or if you've already gotten approval from them, you want to make sure that every single time the professor is changed, because remember, just like the university, professors working there are also different. There's of course the program-specific requirements as well, program-specific constraints. A lot of times you will see different universities, while the program name is the same, their curriculum is a little bit different. And trust me, if you're not able to find that, you're doing something wrong because it almost always is. Find out what's unique about that program and mention it. Mention why you are interested in that particular program at that university. And of course, this one, people make the silliest mistakes over here, word limits. Every university usually has a different word limit. So you want to make sure that you're following that. Point number two, silliest mistake people make, and I have also made it in my time, don't worry, it's a very common mistake, and that is you're not checking for grammar. Remember, in today's world, we have great tools just like Grammarly, and you can actually use that to make sure that your draft is pitch perfect. Even the free one is fine. If you want the premium one, don't worry about it. There's a 6-month plan that I found, and it's, cheaper than the original plan on the website that they give on Grammarly. So you can actually take a look at this website, newstudymaterial.com. The link is in my description, and you will be actually able to go ahead and buy it from there for a much cheaper price. For 6 months, that's more than enough, I believe, for your SOPs. Of course, you can always use manual reviewers as well. 2 or 3 people can read your draft and then they can correct it. Maybe they're English teachers. I generally prefer to go with the software, to be very honest. Next, very important over here, conciseness is invaluable. Why is that? See, most students are not able to write their drafts concisely. They cannot write it short. They have to write everything that they have ever done. Result is they end up with a full-fledged 2-page or 2.5-page, 3-page draft, which is probably killing your application more than it is making it. So what is the mistake you guys make? All right, let me tell you. You try to add everything over there, like I said. You almost forget that your resume is part of the application where you've already mentioned all of these things, but you would like to go over them in the SOP as well. The next thing you do is you create redundancies. You make mistakes by repeating the same stuff. It's in your resume, it's in your mark sheet, it's in your transcripts, but you're mentioning it again in the SOP anyway. You're mentioning your grades anyway. Not important, guys. It's a redundancy. Avoid that. Remember, only mention details relevant to your program. You don't want to go overboard. Don't want to go ahead and roam into areas that you really should not be roaming into. You're wasting the reviewer's time, you're wasting your time. Avoid that. Finally, very important point, probably no one mentions it, but it's important because based on my experience, I can tell you it's produced great results. You do not have to exhaust the word limit. What does that mean? If you can mention your point in fewer words, if let's say the word limit is 1,000 words and you can create an SOP of just about 700 and that would cover everything that you need to say, go with that 700 worded SOP. You're not doing anything wrong by just not using those 300 words. It just means that you can basically put your point across much more concisely, and that's invaluable, guys. Trust me. All right, guys, the next tip for you guys is avoid mentioning more than 2 to 3 experiences in your SOP. All right, this could be projects, this could be work experience, this could be leadership experience, whatever it is. Avoid mentioning more than 2 or 3, simply because you don't need to mention everything in there. You just need to mention the ones that actually helped shape your journey, what helped define why you are actually doing this program today, why you're actually applying for this program today, essentially. Remember, the worst thing you can do is you mention 10 experiences with 2 lines on each. Instead, just mention 2 experiences with 5 to 6 lines on each, and you explain a couple of things over there, which I'm going to tell you what you should be mentioning, but you explain those things in detail. That's going to take you a long, long way. Trust me. Coming to point number 5, what should you be mentioning? Don't make your SOP a copy of your resume. A very common mistake again. Instead, what you want to do is you want to talk about your journey. What kind of obstacles you faced through this experience that you're talking about, what kind of approaches you used, and how did you finally overcome those obstacles? What did you learn after you finished all of that? And how do these learnings actually make you go from this stage to the stage where you're applying for this program, right? Basically, how do they contribute to the journey at hand? That's really important, guys. All right, so these are my top 5 tips for you. I have one bonus over here, and this is something that most people miss out on. It's not the most important thing, but it's going to make massive changes if you really follow this. And that is build a flow. Every paragraph that you end, it should kind of flow into the other one. It shouldn't be the case that first you're talking about your academic experiences and all of a sudden you tell them about why this university, all of a sudden you go on to, some other extracurricular, all of that. It shouldn't be like that. There should be a flow. How did you get from this paragraph to that one? It should be so easy to read, so easy to understand that the reviewer, the admissions committee member wants to read more. They're craving for more. That's what you want to give them, guys. Finally, let's talk about the format and then we'll give you the samples. Okay guys, before I give you a format, quick disclaimer over here. We do not follow a format at YMGrad. We just don't. That's simply because every person's story has a different flow. We follow a flow, I would say, to be honest. And every person's story actually demands a different flow. Every person's program that they're applying to, the university that they're applying to, it kind of demands a different sort of a flow. So we don't generally go ahead and write it down in a specific format. Instead, it's more of a flow. But I'm going to try to give you as close to a format, whatever I could carve over here. And I think if you go with just this one as well, right, you'll still be able to get ahead of most people. Whatever the tips are you're finding online, they're going to be irrelevant for the most part, as long as you can just follow this and the tips that I gave you previously. Number 1, go ahead, start the SOP or your essay with a catchy introduction as to why you're applying for this program at all. Remember, if it seems like it's overused or everyone could say something like that, it probably is, and you should avoid something of that sort. Next, you can go over your past academic experiences, and it's important to do that because, again, if you're applying for an academic program or a research-based program, you want to show them that how you actually, carved out your journey, how this education helped you move to this program that you're applying to. And that's something that you show your journey or interest through that educational experiences only. Next, of course, like I said, you go over your projects, leadership X, work X, or internships, whatever you want to go through. But again, I would say keep them to a maximum of 2 to 3, not more than that. Concise, but also going in detail, just enough to tell them about your journey, the obstacles, and of course, what you learned. The next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and briefly mention any relevant extracurriculars that you have. Next, you go on to why this university, very important part of your SOP. Why do you want to go for this particular program, this particular university? Like I said, this part has to be customized for every program out there. And finally, you go over why should the university select you? Why are you a better fit than all of the thousands of applicants that sent in their applications? And if you can do that well, my friend, you already have your foot in the door. So that's as close to what I can get to in terms of a format, and I really hope it helps you. But now it's time to give you samples. Before I do that, make sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, where we actually give out a lot of updates just like this one. There's a lot more we can help you with, whether it's application fee waivers, GRE waivers, etc., and all of that is present on these channels like I mentioned. Now for the free samples, disclaimer, these are not written by our Ivy League graduates. We would never actually give them out because they are the sole property of the client, of course, right? But again, it's important that you have a couple of samples if you're doing it yourself, and I just, as long as don't copy off of them, because that would actually be plagiarized in that case, right? So don't do that. Write your own thing, but get the ideas if you want from these samples, okay? All you want to do is you want to go into YMGrad.com, you want to sign up over there. It's a very short sign up form that we've made. We've updated it. It's a very short one now. You sign up, you finish your sign up. What happens next is that you get an email. In that email, you will have the YMGrad offer of the year button. You click on it, you complete the offer, you get the free samples. It's free. Along with that, you will also get study material. If you're studying for GRE, SAT, IELTS, GMAT, whatever it is, you will get study material for that as well, along with those free SOP samples. And if you're not able to get it, still facing issues, reach out to me on Instagram and I'll try to help to the best of my ability. Right? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye and take care.